We are now racing.
Yeah, leading the pack should be number 44, Chris Zappa, in the black and gold 72 Datsun 240.
What a beautiful car.
Yep, but I expect those 914s from Schenley Porsche to catch up to him pretty quickly.
They will be nipping at him the entire race. Here we see
Here
the
we come over
shot.
Panther Hollow Bridge. Let's see who comes in first. Who comes around the corner first? Not first in the race, obviously.
Obviously
around
not.
the corner first.
Oh,
look at them.
Goodness.
We are moving now.
Oh, yes, that is definitely Chris Zappa. Scott Ryan right behind him. And the other Schenley Porsche just there. Yeah, we got a Z and a Beamer. They are not letting anyone get away. This is some great racing. They're going to come into that Westinghouse turn right now, coming around that corner and begin to accelerate. And already that 914.6 of Scott Ryan is giving that Z some trouble. So he is going to have to work hard to stay in front of this pack here at the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. What a gorgeous day. Great shot. The tree shadows coming over there. And it's going to be a little interesting because that's going to play some in the track temperatures, even though this is a regular road surface where you've got the sun, it's going to heat up the pavement. That's going to affect your traction. Coming around right. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just kick over to an interview, but stay right here because they're going to keep the camera on the racing.
And this is an interview with Chris Zappa, the leader of the current of the over 2 liter production sports.
Fantastic.
For regular visitors to the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, when you see a black car, a shiny black car with gold trim on it, you know it's a Zappa car. And this is Chris Zappa and this terrific 240Z?
Because the first one...
Actually, it's a 280, but they're basically all the same, yeah. So, 280Z took about 5 years for me to restore. So, yeah, we now run it in anger.
It's a very fast car. We saw you last weekend at a little issue at pit race on Saturday, but I believe it was a podium on Sunday.
It was, yeah. I was braking rear axles, and it ended up being a bent stub axle of all things. So the vibration kept breaking it, but got it back together, got it fixed. Went out there Sunday for the race. Unfortunately, of all things, my door handle came loose. There's a pin in there, and the pin actually came apart. So drove almost the whole race with one hand on the wheel, one hand holding the door, braking in a straight line. For insurance purposes, I wasn't taking my hands off the wheels and downshifting, but I might have been taking my hands off the wheel and downshifting and holding the door shut. So yeah, it was fun.
That's that traditional story of the $1 million car with a 25-cent piece of brake.
Literally, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
But this is very fast. It's a fast car. Obviously, you're a great driver. It was really fun to watch you last weekend. It's a really completely different race course here, though.
It is, yeah, it is. I could go off there and not have to worry too much, but you really have to watch here with the walls and the cones and the parking meters and the trees and the sewers and the curbs and pretty much you name it, it's out there. So.
It's a super challenge for the driver, I'm sure. And that's, I guess, one of the reasons that the Schenley Park races are kind of short.
Yeah, they are short. I would say it seems like forever when you're out there, even though it might only be 20 minutes or 25 minutes, but there's really no time to even look at gauges almost. So, thankfully they're not too long because I'm not the youngest, I'm not the oldest, but it really takes a toll on you. It really does.
Look for the shiny black and gold Zappa car. The Zappa cars are always well turned out, and this certainly matches the rest. Congratulations. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're back. Obviously, our leader, Zappa Racing, he has got that door fixed. He's driving with both hands, and he needs to because Scott Ryan is just filling his mirrors with 914. And this is just some fantastic racing. Both of these cars are just stunning.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful, beautiful cars. Coming around that start-finish line as they get set up, and then they're going to come across that Panther Bridge, headed towards the conservatory. This is a great shot of some of the other competitors in there, but that is your leaderboard. Chris Zappa, Scott Ryan, and
Christopher Kolak. He is the other 914 from Schenley Porsche.
Yeah. We've got a great representation in the top 4 there, because then we've got a BMW 2002. But here we are. And he has gotten around him.
Nice.
Scott Ryan has managed to get that 914.
Got our first hot pass of the week.
Oh, all right. And they are now headed up towards the Westinghouse turn. This is going to be great, but do not count Zappa out. He has got all the time to still make this up, and his door staying on, so he can keep both hands on the wheel and really do some great driving.
I'm getting another message from our lawyers that we need to remind the drivers that this is 7/10 racing. Gentlemen, be very careful. Do not scratch your beautiful machinery down there in Schenley Park.
Okay.
This again once is a regular road course. So when you see rocks and hay bales, there is no protection sometimes between these beautiful machinery.
Oh, there it is. There's
Doing
Zappa. He is just reeling that car in.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing. Fill in the mirrors of that 914.
Through turn 13, they are getting at it, everybody.
That is just wonderful. Now, obviously, a little more power than the races we just watched, so they are not as concerned, but you can see, while if you're watching this as a racer and you're used to a race course, you might think they're taking a slightly odd line, but these roads are crowned in both directions, so it affects how they're doing it. So they're coming through. Here it is through the switchbacks. We got this gorgeous drone shot. Oh, and Zappa is just in those corners. This is gorgeous. And there's that Schenley Porsche in third coming around, entering in there as well. This is just some fantastic, great racing. We've got that 70 BMW 2002 also evening it up. Here they come back around the start finish, and we should be another shot onto the bridge.
Let's remind everyone, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are definitely trying to make sure that we continue to fill your content with great racing, not only like this from Pittsburgh, PA, but also from the racetrack, because this is a motorsports festival, not just happening today, but happening throughout the year with great car shows and great track events.
Yeah, and last weekend they were at Pit Race, the track. You should check that out. And if you're a racer or just a generalized gearhead, chances are you got a garage full of stuff that you promise you're going to get to. If you need to store it, don't forget Guardian Storage, one of our great sponsors this weekend.
Oh,
so check out Guardian
Storage.
Storage.
Looks like our number 1 driver, Scott Ryan, is putting some distance on the Chris Zappa 240Z.
Absolutely. Got about a half a second on him as they enter into that Westinghouse statue turn. Here they come on those brakes. Get that downshift. Pavement transition there, because it's 2 different road surfaces, and it's a little rough right there, and those 2 drivers negotiated that perfectly. Well done. This is just fantastic. Hang on, hopefully we'll see just a handful of seconds. We might have caught that Schenley Porsche also running them down, coming into this corner. Beautiful Jaguar right there as we're coming through. You don't see this in the regular racing.
We'll go to the back out. Take off the leaders.
No, we are not.
Oh, no.
There it is.
That is slow traffic that is being caught by the leaders.
Yeah. Oh, Zappa is just on it. Just a slight step out. Beautiful controlled slide as he got on that throttle. A little too much power and a little less grip, because the sun is heating that track now. It is getting warm. It's not as brutal as it has been in Pittsburgh in July in the past, but it is certainly warm, and that's going to play a factor in the amount of grip that's available to these racers. Here's our overhead shot as they try to negotiate this back marker Jaguar. We're going to see how well they do it. It's friendly racing, so I don't expect a lot of blocking, but you still want to plan this to protect everybody involved, because they respect each other.
This is gentleman racing. Didn't mean to genderize that, but what that means is when you're a back marker and you know you're a little slower, you're going to pull off to the side, let those leaders through, just like we do in the endurance racing. We can see that Jaguar, he's definitely slowed him up a little bit, but he's going to try and get out of the way once that track opens up and let him by. As
there
you can
they
see
go,
right
there they go. All right.
Put the beans to it and get right by.
And Zappa gives him no quarter as they come charging down that into turn 1. And then this is going to be a wonderful setup as they come across that Panther Bridge.
You know, yesterday they had the Axis versus Allies race, and I'm sure that Scott and Chris Zappa being on the same side of that race, probably having a good time together as competitors this morning.
But good friendly competition doesn't mean you're rolling over on this one, and this is just some fantastic racing. If you haven't had a chance, work your way down to here right now. We are going to just pop over to a commercial from our sponsors, Guardian Storage. Check them out if you're living in the area, but keep watching, because the screen is going to stay on this fantastic racing. And we are back, just overlooking those switchbacks, and tight racing still going on between that Z and that Porsche.
Yeah, we should mention that the Scott Ryan is still leading the race, and Chris Zappa in the Z right after number 3. Christopher Kolwak, he is in the other 914 from Swickley Porsche, and after that, number 4th place, Perry Geneva in the 2002, and Patrick Ross, number 991. We haven't actually seen him, so we're not sure what he is driving, but we should mention, number 1 and number 2 have lapped the entire field at this point. Scott Ryan and Chris Zappa absolutely getting at it at this race today.
Just a half a second between them, and just some great racing going on there. Couldn't ask for anything better. I would not be surprised if we see a new lap record the way these two are going.
Yeah.
In fact, that is it right there. They just turned a 2:09. That is faster than the fastest recorded lap. I think they are both well under the published lap record.
Yeah, I have best lap according to the timing and scoring is 2:08.697 out of Scott Ryan.
Oh my
in
goodness.
that Porsche 914.
Oh, he locks up the front just a little bit as he's coming in. That sends him wide, and Zappa almost manages to exploit that opportunity. This is just fantastic racing, and you are watching history right now on the screen because they have absolutely shattered the previous record at this track, at this beautiful Schenley Park temporary road course set up here in Pittsburgh at the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. This is just some great racing between the two of them. Here they come again. Oh, and it looked like Zappa was going to try and stick his nose in there.
They are bumper to bumper fighting each other for the first place.
This is just fantastic. Obviously, they're being respectful of each other's cars, so this is just the highest quality racing you can absolutely get. This isn't professional. These are folks that do this out of passion and out of love, and they are absolutely leaving it all on the track today. This is just a fantastic race. Overlooking the switchbacks as they start to come down. This is fantastic, and we can really see the difference in the lines that these two cars are taking. You've got a mid-engined 914 with the traditional front engine wheel-wheel drive Z. This is really, really great.
We are watching the racing so much we forgot to plug the social media. Please do a tweet or check us out on Instagram and hit that hashtag PVGP, hashtag PVGP, with all of your thoughts on today's racing.
Absolutely. And send this to a friend because, come on, this has got to be having a great time. And you know your racing friends would love to watch this right here. This is just as good as it's gets anywhere, professional, amateur, it doesn't matter. These are two great
coming
competitors.
Over the Panther Bridge there.
Oh, look at all those 914s. This is beautiful. This is fantastic. And there's a 911.
140.
We're gonna keep going. No, we're cutting into this. So here we go. These are some gorgeous 914s.
Or the green one is.
There we go. The blue one coming around. That's your race leader. Zappa right behind him. Has got a little bit of distance on him this time, but they have lapped the entire field. So really, it's just those two and then everyone else. And they are going to be coming up on some lap traffic again. That is going to absolutely play a factor as we watch them exit the Westinghouse statue corner and start heading their way up the hill.
Almost a full second difference between Scott Ryan and Chris Zappa. Porsche's putting a little distance on the Z.
Yeah, that you're coming through there. We'll see how well that works out when they get into traffic. And as we saw, they are so into it. You're starting to see a little bit of tire lock up in some of those tighter corners. So hopefully they are saving their rubber to last the entire race. There's our race leaders, and they are coming up on that lap traffic. And this is not slow lap traffic, but they the blue number 25, Scott Ryan, gets a little bit sideways, and Zappa is able to reel him in by just a hair. This is going to be fascinating. Here we are looking at 4 cars all mixing it up, and our race leaders are entering into this traffic. Respectful racing, no doubt, but it just takes time to get out of the way when you're watching this come through. So we're going to see how quickly our competitors can negotiate some of this traffic in the back of the pack.
Yeah, Mental, when we thought we were doing a vintage race, we were expecting some parade laps here. That is not happening. They are absolutely getting it in Schenley Park today as our leaders are fighting through the back of some slower traffic. As you can see, gentlemen racers pulling over to the side and letting our leaders through.
But they are 3 wide coming through there. Zappa has to come on the inside of that 911 just to keep Scott Ryan in his sights. And darn if he isn't. Now he's a little bit behind that 911, but as we cut back over here, we should be seeing him come across the bridge in just a couple of seconds. This is going to be, it's going to be a glorious shot, but this is going to be some fantastic racing. Still less than a second between first and second place, but if you want anyone else, you're going to have to go at least a lap back, because these two have absolutely raised the bar. Lap records repeatedly being shattered, and they are going at it. Oh, and it is absolutely, Scott Ryan is running away with it. It looks like Zappa got held up with some of the traffic back there. There he goes, but he's coming around, and then there's that 911 and the other 914. They are coming back into the Westinghouse corner, and that is a really, really smooth entry. I think Scott Ryan's really got this course figured out, but Zappa is not giving it up just yet.
We're going to transition to another interview with Ted Sawyer down on the park with BMW 2002 racer Roy Hopkins coming up in just a minute. But don't go anywhere, because it's going to be picture-in-picture, and you're still going to be able to watch this exciting content of the actual race. Again, less than a second between first and second place. Scott Ryan leading, Chris Zappa in second.
Roy Hopkins' BMW is one of the most memorable cars here at Schenley Park, partly because you've been here a number of years, and partly because, well, it's the only car that looks like this. Roy, welcome back to Schenley.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and the weather looks like it's cooperating.
We were just last weekend at Pittsburgh International Race Complex, Pit Race. You ran 2 races, you had a 4th and a podium, so that was a fabulous showing. But boy, doesn't it put a lot of stress on the car to do another race weekend right after that one?
It does. That's why I'm doing a little maintenance now, some new brake pads, replaced the motor mount, but we should be good to go.
This car has been around the block, I guess you could say. This has done a lot of competitive miles.
Yes, a lot of Target Newfoundland, 2,000 kilometer road rally, and we did it like 5 times.
And you won it twice, I believe.
3 times.
And it has a name, I believe.
Well, I bought it out of California, and it came with a piece of duct tape on the steering wheel. It said, "Hello, my name is Woodstock. Go fast, have fun." So it came with the name.
But emblazoned on the back window, it says the burnt squirrel. I need to know what that is.
The friend of ours that we raced Targa with all those years, it's the name of one of his sponsors' camps, because his daughter had gone into camp and said, "This place smells like a burnt squirrel." So he was helping us out, and he wanted to put the sticker on, so more power to you, and it's been a lot of fun.
Now, this is kind of a family affair, I think, for you. Has not vintage racing been?
Yes, Adrian's been my navigator co-pilot at Targa all those years, and she did race here for 10 years in another 2002. Yeah, no more.
It's always great to have the BMW 2002 here, and there have been some years when we've had a lot of 2002s. Actually, there are quite a few here this year.
Yeah, it's great to see them all here, and we like to help each other out and have a good time.
Roy Hopkins out of, I think, Spencerport, New York.
Spencerport, New York, yes.
BMW 2002, Woodstock.
And we're back. We are back at Live Racing in Schenley Park. Thank you for that great interview of Roy Hopkins out of New York. Roy is in 6th place with his burnt squirrel BMW 2002. We haven't seen a lot of them because the leaders are just absolutely running away with it.
There they are again. So you got Scott Ryan. He is now a good 3 seconds in front of Chris Zappa in that Z as they're getting into traffic. 1 lap back is Christopher Kwolek in that gorgeous Schwickley 914. We've got another 2002 down there in 4th place, is Z in 5th. Roy Hopkins right there in 6th in that 411. And here we are looking down on the switchbacks as they're coming through. In fact, that might actually be the squirrel that we're just seeing come through those corners. What a gorgeous day. It's starting to warm up, and this is going to play a factor. We're getting towards the end of this race. This is hot tires, hot brakes, hot drivers. So hopefully they are going to keep it smart, keep it safe, but we're going to see some interesting passes and some interesting turns as we're coming up on here. While we got just a couple of seconds, I want everyone just to think about Autism Pittsburgh. Head over to the Pittsburgh VGP website, and if you can, make a good donation. It's a great cause. There's our race leader as he's working his way through traffic. Zappa's having to go around that Z. Scott Ryan was able to go under it. And this is another one of those Z's that's coming through, being chased by a BMW 2002. I believe that is our 5th and 6th place racers coming through. But the 25 car is carving its way through this traffic again. This is just incredible racing. One of these.
There's the burnt squirrel.
Absolutely. Woodstock is the other name of that one too. But he said, go fast, have fun. And I think absolutely he is doing that one. That was a really great interview. So there they are coming through the Westinghouse turn, looking up that hill at turn 15. There's our race leaders, 1 and 2, diving into that corner. And it would appear that Zappa has managed to get that Scott Ryan 914 back in his sights. And you can hear that glorious 6-cylinder Z, 280Z just winding through that rev range as he is trying to bring him in. Another shot as they're coming into the switchbacks. So here it is, our race leaders intermingled with some of the traffic that they are lapping again for the second time. This is going to really affect the outcome of the race. They are on it. He has managed to carve that lead down to 2.5 seconds, and that's in just a few turns. Very well done, Chris Zappa.
Yeah, I think our leaders may be slowing down a bit as some of the lap traffic has unlapped themselves. Chris Kowak, Perry Genoa, and Patrick Ross have all unlapped themselves, showing the blue flag. Why don't you explain to the people what the blue flag is there, Mental?
All right. Well, as we love to say, blue flag means there's a race going on and you're not in it. We're kidding. What that is it's an alert for some of the drivers who may be driving in a different class or a slower car that you have a faster car coming up behind you. And really, the right answer on that one is just be predictable and give them some racing room. This is another one of our favorite shots. We should see our race leaders coming through there. That is actually Roy right there in that the Woodstock burnt squirrel, yeah. And here's our race leaders, 25 or 63, Scott Ryan, and being run down by Chris Zappa. There it is, just a perfect entrance into that corner. And this is going to be a tight one because they should be right up on it.
Oh, Roy Hopkins better get out of the way. Here comes the leaders.
All right, Roy, I'm sure he sees them. Roy's been doing this for a while, so he knows if the faster cars are behind him. I expect no problems with either of this, but they're going to be heading up towards that hill. We've got just a couple of seconds, and we want you to just watch this presentation from our sponsor, Guardian Storage, but don't go anywhere. In fact, this is a perfect time for you to click that like and subscribe button while we have some welcome messages from our sponsor, but stay here because the racing is going to continue.
We are live from the podium, and I want to say, first of all, congratulations to all three drivers up here. And I want to talk to Scott Ryan in that beautiful and very fast Porsche 914.
Well,
It was awesome.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So we had fun. Chris and I had the intentions on putting on a good show for everybody, and I think we did. I think we did, but
Now, I'm going to interrupt you because there's a story here. And what is the story? Come on, Chris.
No, I mean, I've worked hard last year to get it up to where it is to run with Scott. It's been my intention for a solid 2 years now. So I think we put on an awesome show. I hope all the spectators really enjoyed it because I think we were going maybe not 10 tenths, but a solid 9 tenths maybe. I think I really hope we put on a great show for everybody because it was great battling, and he'd pull a lead and I'd catch up, and then we would just go back and forth, and it was freaking awesome for lack of a better word.
Was there a point buy at one point?
Well, that's what we're discussing. So we came to the conclusion that there was, and I didn't note it, so I thought I took it. He almost got it back off of me, but nonetheless, I don't really want to accept this. I think he's going to have to take it.
I got him in the Serpentine, and that was where the full caution was, where we're not allowed to pass because of that. I gave it back to him because it wasn't a legit move. So
I think if we stage a 2-car race, we can work this out.
I don't have any energy left, man.
It's worked out. Here's front, so Chris is the winner. No, he's the winner.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate this.
Fabulous. Thank you, guys. And that's not to overlook our other podium contender here, or winner, I should say, Casey Kowalik.
Well, thank you for having us. PVGP is always a wonderful event. Really happy with the way the car operated today. I need another half a liter to keep up with the other two guys. But what a wonderful place to drive a car through the city.
Now, let me interrupt you to say, so you got a 6-cylinder 914-6 and a 6-cylinder 240Z. What are you running in your car?
I'm running a 2.4 liter 6, and they're running 3 liter cars. So, but I'm not going to blame it on the car. I'm two great drivers. Really wonderful time. Nice to see so many people out there today. The spectator section, the conservatory. There's people everywhere. It's great.
You've had 2 great weekends because you were out at Pit Race last week and had a pretty nice weekend there too.
Yeah, finished second and third a couple times behind these two. So, I can't complain. I'm really happy with the way everything went. We'll see you next year.
Congratulations. We will see you next year. Casey Kowalik.